खिलाफत इर्तिकाए नस्ल इंसानी की सूरत है.
What Hazur means to me is Hazur is like a leader. Hazur is the guide that Allah has given us so that through him and through having a connection with him and listening to his advice and sermons, we can gain a closer connection to Allah and improve ourselves spiritually. So to me, Hazur is he's the great blessing that Allah has given us that people didn't have for over 1,000 years. So during 2021, that was a time for me when my spirituality was declining. In my daily prayers, I would be slacking, like I wouldn't pay much attention to it, or I would be hasty. I would rush through them. And I also stopped reading Quran with translation. I would just read Arabic, and I would think to myself that, oh, I'm still like fulfilling my duties. I'm still gaining some benefit. But eventually, in late 2021, I had the opportunity of having a virtual mulaqat with Hazur. And in that mulaqat, I had the opportunity to ask Hazur a question. I said, even though I read my 5 daily prayers and I read Quran every day, I still struggle to put 100% of my trust in Allah. And I asked him if there was any advice he could give me so that I could improve my trust in Allah. What Hazur said to me after I asked him the question was, he asked me how long I spent in my Fajr prayer. I told him I only spent around 5 to 10 minutes. So he said, how can I qualify my piety and spirituality in 5 to 10 minutes, whereas when I'm doing schoolwork and studying for my exams, I put in 6, 7 hours before I can qualify for getting good grades on the exam. And Hazur said that you have to put in the same amount of hard work and effort in your namaz and in spirituality if you want to qualify for your piety. And he also said that I can't understand Surah Fatiha in 5 to 10 minutes. So he told me that when I'm reading namaz alone, like not with the mosque, I should be reciting Surah Fatiha over and over again and repeating Ihdina Siratul Mustaqim. And when I pray in my sajda, I should be asking Allah to give me the strength and power to uh, do pious things and do good deeds and maintain that. So after a significant amount of time of taking that advice Hazur gave me into account, I couldn't really rush my prayer because I was re-reciting Surah Fatiha and taking my time. And after many, many months, there came a time where I slept through the Isha prayer, and when I woke up, I felt so guilty about it, and I started praying in the manner Hazur taught me to. I was re-reciting Surah Fatiha, praying to Allah to give me the strength and power to do pious things, and eventually, an overwhelming feeling overcame me. I felt like the best way for me to describe it was that I felt like I was truly free. When I wasn't in this feeling, there was always this hypnosis or thing tying me down. And this feeling that I had, it was as though those have been released and I never felt them in the first place. Previously, I might have been tempted to do certain sins, but when I was in that state, I couldn't even imagine myself even thinking about doing it. And in all my years, all my 18 years of living, there is no experience, no feeling that I've ever had that can ever compare to that. If that instance in my life where Hazur told me, taught me how to pray like that never happened, then my namaz would never be as effective as it is now. And I would have never experienced something like that. It wouldn't be effective at all. I would have fallen victim to so many sins and temptations, and I wouldn't have been introduced to such a beautiful thing, such an inspiration for me, and showing me the true purpose of my life and where true satisfaction lies. It taught me that the satisfaction and pleasure that I have to strive for and achieve is not in this world. There's nothing in this world that can ever compare to that satisfaction that Allah can give you. So without Hazur, I would have never been able to achieve such a state.